Hi, Bright Bulbs. We're going to continue our learning about fractions. Today we're going to talk about having more than one part of a whole. So we're going to take a look at some games, some activities, and how to identify that numerator and denominator. I've taken my whole circle and I've cut it into two equal parts. So that means I am showing halves. If I choose one of those pieces, that's 1/2. But if I choose both of those pieces, and I select 2, that means I'm looking at 2 and all together there are 2 pieces. So I want to give you a quick reminder that when I have a numerator and a denominator, the number on top is talking about how many parts you're looking at, and the number on bottom tells me how many equal parts are there in all. So the numerator, the denominator. So let's keep that in mind for this lesson. I have my whole circle and I've cut it into fourths. So there's 4 equal pieces. And if I look at one of those pieces, that's 1/4. If I choose 2 of those pieces, that's 2/4. If I choose 3 of those pieces, that's 3/4. But if I have all 4 pieces together, how much is that? You guessed it, 4/4. So that would be my whole circle, right? This is my whole circle. I've divided it into equal parts. If you notice, there's 3 parts, so that means I have made thirds. Right now, this is the whole circle because all of it is shaded. It's all included, all of the pieces. But if I take a look and I pull this piece, that's 1/3 because 1 out of all 3 equal pieces is taken out. What's left are 2 of those pieces. So I've got 2/3 on top and 1/3 on the bottom. If I include all of the pieces, so I've got this 1 plus these 2, that means I have all of the thirds, or 3/3. That is my whole circle. I'm showing my whole circle and it's cut into 6 equal parts. So I've got 6/6 and I'm showing 6ths. So if I take one of those slices and I look at 1, that one, I'm showing 1/6. If I select 2 of those pieces and I look at 2 of them, I'm showing 2/6 of my fraction of my whole. If I select 3 of those pieces, I'm looking at 3 out of the 6 equal pieces. You guessed it, that's 3/6 of my whole. If I select 4, can you guess what fraction that is? I'm looking at 4, and all together there are 6 equal pieces. Let's select 5 of those 6 pieces, showing 5/6. And last but not least, if I look at the entire thing, that's what we started with, I have a whole, or I have 6/6 of that circle, right? I have the whole thing. I've made a pizza that's covered in olives, and then a few of the slices have a mixture of olives, pepperoni, mushrooms. So we are going to solve how much of my pizza is covered in olives. What fraction? Did you guess 1/3? Well, you're right. So that is the fraction that is covered in olives. Now, what fraction of the pizza is covered in all of these veggies? Well, I see that there are 2 slices, right? 1/3, 1/3. So there's 1 plus 1 equals 2. So that means what fraction is covered? Did you say 2/3? 2/3 of the pizza is covered with all of those vegetables and toppings? Nice job. And when I look at the entire pizza, that's 3/3. This is my whole pizza. I ordered a pizza with pepperoni and olives. It's a really interesting combination. I want you guys to look at the different ingredients and see what fraction of my pizza is covered in pepperoni. How many fourths? How many fourths? Well, if you look, there's 2 of the pieces are pepperoni, right? So for your fraction, you're going to think, how many parts are you looking at? That's the number that goes on top. And how many equal parts are there in all? That's the number that goes on the bottom. So for the numerator, how many parts are pepperoni? And how many parts do I have in all? Did you come up with 2/4? I'm looking at 2 pepperoni pieces, right? And there's 4 pieces in all. So it should be 2/4 is pepperoni. So what fraction of the pizza is olives? Did you say 2/4? 2 of the slices are olives, and there's 4 slices altogether. So 2/4 are pepperoni and 2/4 are olives. Look at this whole pizza. I have lots of different toppings. I've got green peppers, I've got olives, I've got pepperoni, and I have mushrooms. I want to know what fraction of my pizza is covered in green peppers. Here is the part of my pizza that is covered in green peppers. Did you guess 2/8? Nice job! I want to show you a fun way to turn any sort of candy into a fraction lesson. Let's do fraction with candy. I got a handful of micanites. I'm going to put them on my paper, and I'm going to check out what colors I have and chart them. I've listed my colors, and I just happen to have enough boxes to list all the colors. If you run out of spaces and you need more, you can just use a blank space or continue your chart. What I'm going to do is I'm going to sort them. I noticed that I have 2 pink, but what I don't know is what's my denominator. How many parts are there in all? I know I'm looking at 2, but I need to count my candies to solve how many are in my denominator. How many parts are there all together? So I'm going to count quickly. Well, I sorted them and it makes it a lot easier to count. I've got 4 plus 4 is 8, plus 3 is 11, plus 1 is 12, 13, 14. I've got 14 in all. So that means that when I look at my pink candies, I've got 2 and there's 14 in all. When I look at my purple, I've got 3 purple, and guess what? My denominator is still 14. I'm still going to have 14 pieces altogether. When I look at the orange, there's only 1 that I'm looking at, and there's 14 pieces in all. And then for the teal, I've got 4 that I'm looking at, and there's still 14 pieces in all. And when I look at the blue, I have 4, and there's 14 pieces in all. So I'm looking at 14ths. That's the fraction that I have. So I just made a fraction activity out of a handful of candy. Now you try. Another fun way to do fractions and include spelling is this fractional sight word activity. What I would like you guys to do is use all of your spelling words from this week's spelling list. I wrote the first 5 down: port, north, more, store, and or. They're right here. They're in my spelling list for Unit 4, Week 3. So you can start off by writing your words, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to count the number of letters in the word. I counted the number of letters in my word, and now I'm going to figure out what fraction of my word has consonants and vowels. So I'm going to count carefully. I want to remind you that the vowels are A, E, I, O, and U. So the rest of the letters in the alphabet are consonants. If you can't remember your alphabet, Don't worry, you've got your name tag and it has all of the letters of the alphabet in order right there. Sometimes a vowel is also Y in a word when you don't have a vowel A, E, I, or U, like the word buy. In the word buy, the Y would be the vowel. So I'm going to count carefully how many consonants and how many vowels, and then I'm going to figure out what fraction of that are consonants and what fraction are vowels. I'm just going to choose one of the words to do as an example for you because I don't want to give you all the answers. So if I count in the word north, I'm going to start with the second word. I count, let me see, there's 1, 2, 3, 4 of those letters are consonants, and just the letter O is a vowel. So I only have one vowel. Now, if I look at this, the denominator is going to be 5 because no matter what, I have 5 letters or 5 parts, right? So my denominator will be 5 and my fraction will be 4/5 because 4 out of the 5 pieces or 4 out of the 5 letters in the word north are consonants and just one part is a vowel out of all those 5. So those are my fractions that create that whole 5/5, right? So why don't you take a try, and I attached 3 pages of this so that you can write all 15 words. So give it a try, and if you'd like a real challenge, you can use one of your vocabulary or bonus spelling words to find the fraction of vowels and consonants. Have fun! Brady and I want to hear all of your great ideas and what you're doing at home to practice fractions and identify them. So please send me your favorite work and your most exciting activity. I'd love to share with the whole class because maybe someone else could try it too.